Do you think he will lose to you?
Yeah, of course, because I already broke him once. He can't handle the intensity.
This is the day that world number one, Magnus Carlsen, calmly destroyed the upcoming trash-talking Hans Niemann. It was the Speed Chess Championship 2024. We're picking up here in game 15. You're about to see a positional masterpiece. Hans Niemann's head was spinning after this one. Truly beautiful. Magnus kicks off with the king pawn, best by test, and the Sicilian defense is aggressive because you get immediate imbalance. The clock times are on the left. Magnus thrusts on as his pawn is attacked. The knight centralizes. This one develops, and now after the center is challenged, Magnus sets up a stunning connect four early in the game. He wins himself Hans Niemann's favorite umbrella. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Now we see bishop c4. Now surely you recapture there. This is a quirky grandmother move. What if black drops back? Trying to hit the bishop, make it move, win a pawn. This is all playable. White plays it like a gambit. You could hop and go for this sensitive point. You could take back and say, hey, I got tons of pieces out. I don't care about the pawns. But we didn't see the knight drop back. This was played. You might be thinking, hurrah, let's take. Give black the Irish pawns, that's triple pawns, but actually you leave black with the bishops, board is opening up, favours black. So instead we see takes. This second seahorse develops. Now we see castles, and the knight finally drops back, tickling that bishop and tickling Magnus some more. He gives a giggle. That one's about to be lost unless you go here. This is what Magnus played. Or you could have dropped back, but a bit passive. Now, because of the influence that this bishop's exerting, black closes the center, but after this guy drops back and gets munched, this is how the game proceeded. Although Magnus has lost his beloved bishop bear, look at Hans Niemann's extra bishop. It's kind of crying in this structure. A bad bishop, a problematic bishop, as the card above my head should be saying. In fact, I'm going to pause here because it's about time I talk about these cards. Very excited to let you know that you can actually purchase these cards if it's something you want to use as a learning tool. Basically, the idea is that the cards provide a visual cue to help you learn the game of chess, so that when you come to the board, you don't just see that jumble of pieces and pawns, what's going on, who's better and why. No, you can go, right, there's an open file, who controls it, there's a bad bishop, who's got the safe king, who's got the better minor piece. So you use these cards to help you understand chess. You can get them as a printout or printed and sent you, print them yourself. You can get them as a little book. I've got that here myself. Been using it to teach my son a little bit of chess. Don't know if that's coming into focus. The kind of stuff that's going on in the book here. Really, really cool little learning tool. Teach yourself. Teach a student, teach a kid, teach a grandkid, take it to your chess club or into a university, schools, everything like that, right? The link's in the description. You know the drill, right? Helps out the channel, of course, helps me keep bringing this content and the videos. Plus, it's just a truly amazing chess product in and of itself, right? Let's crack on with the game here. Hope you love those cards as much as I do. The knight now develops, and Niemann desperately tries to wriggle out with this bad bishop here. Pawn b3 from Magnus now, very instructive, restricting the knight and preparing. We're going to see it, but first, no thrust with the pawn. He drops back with the knight. This is a man who understands the position, not an obvious move, but he's rerouting to the king side, creating potential attack. Rook c8. Looks like black is first to the punch on the open file, and yes, but watch how the tables are turned. First Magnus pushes, trying to embarrass this guy, really running out of squares. Do you want to put it there? And Niemann just says, fine, do it. Push a5, stick me in the corner. Magnus does not do it, and it's so instructive. Why not? I'm going to show you. First bishop g5 is played. Now when you've got the bishop pair, you want to retain them. You know, what if you do something like this? Well, not so good actually. The queen's running out of squares, can't drop back. So you go here, nasty, and you're a bit in Siberia. Suddenly, white now arranges an attack, taking with the bishop actually better. Could be even f-pawn ideas, but this one's running fast. It's just not the right construction. So we did not see bishop b4. We saw takes, knight takes, threatening mate in 1. If g6, it creates horrible holes. The pawns have a hook to latch onto. Pick your poison, whatever, probably this one. So this great move is played by Hans. Queen c2. And now, not only do you try and get the queens off, but you x-ray defend the h7 pawn. So Magnus sidesteps. Normally loves a queen trade, but not here. And we're going to take a quick pause, because if Magnus had inserted the moves a5, knight a8, well now, with black to move, bishop b5 would be available. That is annoying, really important square to have for the bishop, and suddenly it's anyone's game. But that's not available. Queen g6 was played by Niemann, and now Magnus turns to the file, and he's actually taking over. Takes, rook recaptures. Niemann now challenges once more, but after h4, excellent move to give the king some Lufthansa, support the knight. h6, knight f3, we do eventually see the trade of rooks in this fashion. How to recapture? Bishop is best. Still nasty, a big pawn stuck in a seesaw, but taken there was even worse, just cementing the bad structure. Queen c3, and like that, it's Magnus dominating the only open file. The knight drops back to cover this invasion square. Now pawn g3, tidy chess, pawns love chains. Queen e4's good counterplay, but the knight now hops. This one comes back to f8, no mate they say. Knight d2 goes to kick the queen here, so she checks. The king steps up, and Niemann just bouncing back and forth. Looks like you can invade, but your knight's also loose. So Magnus now rotates, loves pony maneuvering. This is him at the Oslo training camps, really enjoys it. His hair's on point. Now we see the queen sidestep, and the knight jumps back. He's big time up on the clock as well now, Magnus, a minute ahead. I mean, what Niemann does here is truly impressive. This is an obvious move, fine, you can play on seconds. Magnus offering a queen exchange, Niemann going for it. Normally you don't want to, right? Few of Magnus's fans start bleating, loves to grind like a grandma deep into the endgame. From here, it's stunning chess from Niemann. 4 seconds on the clock. He plays a5, understanding he needs this dark squared structure for the bishop to thrive. Now h5 from Magnus, clamping, and the stinky pawn f6 is not a bad move at all. Trying to break out. Magnus goes g4, takes, pawn recaptures. Nice square for the knight now available. But g6, Niemann's really fighting hard, captures, all of this done on seconds, and he drops back in just a moment, going for this pawn, creating counterplay. Magnus hops. The game is dead level. Look at Ival Barovic. What a fight back. Knight d7 pressures the centre. Magnus takes. We do see an exchange of prisoners. And just like that, the all-powerful, mighty engine even slightly prefers black, but it's roughly level. Knight kicked. Now we see this one hop to c7, creating that double threat, and so the bishop holds on to the central pawn for now, but loved this move. Is Magnus to be denied, picking up one of those juicy-loosey pawns? No. He plays knight to a8. Now a knight in the corner, is there anything forlorner? But here it's got an unstoppable threat of winning the pawn. Niemann advances this one. Now we see takes. Bishop takes on h5 played. Still materials level, but how do you hold on to the a pawn? Answer, you don't. This is a good move. Takes, but now Niemann cracks under the pressure of playing the endgame goat and the time clock situation. He should play knight c5, keeping an eye on both pawns. But instead, we get h5, natural idea, but Magnus bounces, attacking the centre, preparing to run the pawns. This is how the game proceeds, pushing those ones down. He even covers the b pawn twice, no chance to take it there. Bad arrow, sorry, 2 bad arrows. That's what I'm trying to draw. Now we get this one, and after knight c5, these pawns mercilessly advancing. The king checked, even the h-pawn drops. Niemann goes on this desperate knight maneuver, brings it all the way back, just stops the queen being made in time. No time to go pawn a7, or this one drops. So instead, we see king h4, and Magnus is also scrambling now. He's teetering on a knife edge here, very close to making the draw. Sorry about that, the board just went all weird. King f4 was played, and it creates this huge knight e5 threat, because the knight has to stay with the square here. So if you wait, let's say like this, then you can hop with knight e5. This was the game, sorry. And the problem is, if you take, this one goes through. If you don't take and you drop back, well, now there's pawn a7. And this was the previous problem, but this time you don't push here, you take here, make the queen. This is a lost game, of course. So this was the final position where Niemann resigned or lost on time, one of them, and this was the final result of the match. Looks a bit closer than it actually was in reality. Magnus kind of switching off, cruising second sort of 45 minutes to an hour of the match. Hope you loved this one, and if you want to see the most incredible game between these two guys at the Blitz Chess Championship 24, then have a look at the video on screen. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.